Welcome to Garage Sales Unhinged.
where the characters are as quirky as the finds.
I'm Julie.
And I'm Jake.
Join us as we dive into the wild world of garage sales, yard sales, estate sales, and anywhere secondhand sales are happening.
From bizarre bargains to hilarious haggles.
You won't believe the stories we've got lined up.
Let's get unhinged.
Hello, and welcome.
Great. We're in the middle of a conversation and hi, welcome. We didn't see you there. It's Jake and Julie on this podcast using our mouth holes pointed at your ear holes and just let it happen.
Jake, I don't like that you keep saying ear holes.
No?
No.
Too visceral?
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
Like, can we just say people are listening to, like, I think we know how they're listening to us. Is there any other way to listen to something?
I don't know. But look, I'm just the ideas guy. And I did not come with an idea to share today, but normally I'm the ideas guy that has really bad phrases like earhole.
Okay, first of all, I'm the ideas woman. You can't take my job and you get paid more for the ideas guy, and we're doing the same job.
Right? That's how it is, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we were.
Oh, do you want to unpack that a bit? It seems like you had some more ammo to share on that topic of gender inequity in pay. You want to let go a little bit? You want to take a moment?
I almost started saying a bunch of bad curse words all in one.
Yeah.
No, I don't. How about we not do that? I did make a joke about a man getting paid more than me, and I do, and like I could run circles around him, but now that I work for myself, I get to pay myself a fraction of it, and the rest of it goes to the CEO, which is also me.
Now that I work for myself, I only have myself to blame for how little I get paid.
Honestly, yes.
That's right. That's the girl boss move. It's like, look, dock your own pay. Be empowered.
So I tell people all the time, they're like, "Oh, how is it like working for yourself?" I'm like, my employee is lazy and my boss is a bitch.
Yeah.
Nothing around here ever gets cleaned. And they're like, we're always
Having
running
these
behind.
meaningless meetings with my manager.
I do curse at my computer still, so.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah.
You have to. I think that's what they run on now. Is just bad feelings.
Oh, it's kind of also American economy. There's a lot of just bad feelings running it.
Misery is what fuels us.
So, let's flip this around and turn it into a happy episode. How about that?
Okay, sure.
And one of the things I want to talk about, and this is something whenever someone's thinking about doing their own garage sale, or it's a random Tuesday morning and they've stubbed their toe on that thing again and like they're just done. They got to get rid of it. I want to talk about tips that people can use to declutter ahead of a sale. Whether you're just going to sell one item or you're going to sell multiple items in your home. Like a lot of times whenever people go into, hey, I'm going to have a yard sale, or they're going to sell things on Facebook Marketplace or whatever, they tend to not do it because of the heavy lift of decluttering their home. And it's more of a mental block and less of like the realities of decluttering.
Totally. It's like seeing that mountain to climb,
It's that. I think the other thing is too, and we've talked about it before, we have sentimental value on things, but we're also tired of stubbing our toe on it. Like, of going, oh, I can't. Okay, it might be horrible, but it's also reality. Like, what do you do with children's old school pictures? Now, I love every single one of my nieces and nephews, my friends' kids, love them to death. And I love getting their school pictures. But once I get a new one, the old one gets thrown away. And I told that to our mother. And she was shooketh.
Yeah, that's pretty. I'm sure she was like, oh, like, did you get, like, I've never seen mom slap a person, but
She
Yeah.
would have. It was funny one day our parents, well, not our parents, mom called me. Her and dad were cleaning out the house, doing some stuff. And she's like, Julie, we just found a box of old tennis trophies. Do you want us to keep them for you? Do you want to come get them? And I was like, no. These were all from high school. And I was like,
Yeah.
no, you can get rid of them.
Yeah.
She's like, you want us to get rid of them? I'm not going to build a trophy case to memorialize high school. Like, no.
Like, what am I, a man?
Yeah, I need to have a woman cave and put it all in there. Um,
Like, how will people know I was bitching 30 years ago?
um, now sometimes I'm like, oh, should I have done like a secondhand like trophy type thing that I could give out to people? But decluttering is a real thing, and we live in a country that is full of excess.
Yes.
And it's like, man, I mean, before we were recording, I'm looking at my office bookcase, and I have books in here that I've read and I've enjoyed and I'm not going to read again. I have books in here that I am never going to read because someone just gave it to me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? I need to take these things out. And I think about that almost like once a quarter, and they're
Yeah.
still on my bookcase.
Yeah.
And so I want to talk about like what are some tips for decluttering? Because I have done some research on this. You're welcome, everyone. This is a brand new episode. Julie's very rarely does research. Um, but I want to talk about it and also like some of the pitfalls as to well, why don't we already do it? Because it seems so simple, but it's also like we gotta sometimes it is combing through heartache, trauma, childhood memories,
Mhm.
mementos from loved ones, and how you like, oh, can I really separate with this jewelry box that I got when I was 6, but I never use?
It is, really honestly, it's like a really helpful thing to get tips on this because I think for a lot of people, it's like I think people know, hey, look, you're not getting rid of the memory, you're just getting rid of the thing. But the difficult part of that is that yes, but if I get rid of the thing, the memory won't be as accessible. Maybe that's the fear.
That is also true. But now it's a therapy session.
Right.
Um, I mean, actually, decluttering is probably therapy. I've seen
Yeah,
the
honestly,
show
yeah,
Hoarders. That is definitely therapy.
absolutely. But no,
um,
it's like the memory is still there. You'll still be able to summon it. It's still available to you. You just don't have the totem
yeah,
isn't there. But that's the thing is like it's hard for people. I don't know. Like maybe it's hard to trust yourself that you'll still have it available.
yeah,
It's you don't need the physical embodiment of this point in time. And so yeah, that's like not hard to imagine that that's a difficult thing a lot of times. So I'm really curious to hear tips on getting past that.
well, so I mean, and I think a lot of people that have gone through this decluttering process before is familiar with it. But the number one thing is, and we're going to Marie Kondo things, right? If it does not bring you joy, get rid of it. And we are in the secondhand sales uh, fan group. And I'm not saying get rid of it as throw it away. If it can be reused, then you can sell it to somebody else. You can donate it to a group and they can sell it. Um, but it doesn't necessarily need to take up square footage in your life. Um, so one of the things that people talk about is like, hey, you're going to go through your house. You're going to have a keep pile, a get rid of or a sell pile, and
Mhm.
then a trash pile. And a trash pile is for anything that should not be resold. It can't be resold. It is dirty. It is, whatever. Um, and then once you go through that and once you have your keep pile, and again, it's one of those things of I'm utilitarian, right? Like I only want to keep things that I can use. I don't like having kitschy stuff. And it's a struggle because I have bookcases in my house.
Right.
And but it's one of those things of I only want to keep the items that bring me joy, that remind me of a great time in my life, remind me of a person that means something to me. And so keeping those things, great. Does that mean you have to keep all of it? No. So having that keep, donate, trash piles helps to start that. Now, Everyone goes, "Yeah, Julie, everyone knows that," but, like, I have so much stuff to go through. Are you planning a garage sale, yard sale, or estate sale and need some help? Look no further than Garage Sale Supply. They provide top notch resources and expert advice to help you host the perfect sale. From pricing tips to promotional strategies, they've got you covered. Visit GarageSaleSupply.com and make your next sale a success. For example, this is a real example in my life right now, and we have not done this yet. Our garage in my house. That is a black hole of I don't know what crap we have in my garage.
I think that's
And
true for most garages now. They're not for storing cars. They're a storage unit that came with the house.
well, and here's the thing, like when we bought our house, part of the reason is because both of our cars could fit into the garage. So
Mhm.
we do put our cars in the garage, but there's also just a lot of other things in the garage that I'm going, okay, Jacob, you and I have had this conversation before on a previous episode. But in our garage, we have a lawnmower. We have lived in our current house since 2018. So we've lived here for 7 years. Is that right?
Okay. Yep. Yeah. Good math. Way to go.
Thank you. Um, we have never used that lawnmower at this.
No?
No,
Never.
never. Because we have
What?
a yard company.
So why do you have the lawnmower?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
so,
I can see the dilemma.
but it is also one of those things like we'd have to move out both cars out of the garage, start pulling stuff out. What do we want to get rid of? And then once we think of like, okay, this is what we want to get rid of, then like, do I post it on Facebook Marketplace? And then like, do I wait for someone to come get it? And then if I'm waiting, then I got to put it back in the garage because,
Yeah. And at that point, you're like, I'm already overwhelmed. Forget it. I guess it's not too in the way. And 7 years later, right?
well, so right now we are having some renovations done on our house, and our contractor, who's a good friend of ours, is doing the work. And I was coming home
How's that
from,
friendship going along, by the way? Like,
it's
I'm gonna
good.
hire my friend to renovate the house. The house is doing great. The friendship is shot.
No, it's good. He does good work, and he's thorough. Like there's in construction you can have it fast,
So,
cheap,
yeah,
or good. I think that
right.
fast, cheap, or good. Um, and he's
It's going
good.
well.
He's
I'll
good.
I'll let you off the hook. It's going great.
Yeah. Um, but so I came home from running errands the other day. They were here working on the house. And I called him. I was like, "Hey, can you come out to the garage for a second?" And I think he was like, "Oh man, we're gonna have a serious talk." And he came out. I was like, "Hey, do you want this table saw? It's an old table saw. It came with the house, and we haven't done anything with it. My husband and I, we don't do like carpentry." And he's looking and he goes, "I mean, yeah, I'll take it." I was like, "Cool. Whenever the project's done, you don't have to take it today, but you should take this with you." And he's like, "Yeah, I'll give it to my dad. We can keep it at the shop and da da da." I'm like, "Great." So it was one of those things like I'm going to start getting rid of the things in our garage that we don't use. And but okay, I digress. That was a whole thing.
It sounds like a heads up to any of your house guests. Like, if they show up for dinner, it's like, "You could also use a chandelier, couldn't you?"
Well, so whenever I married my husband, I had a fully furnished 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. He lived in a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, fully furnished house. And so whenever we got engaged, I moved into his house and brought all my stuff with me.
Mhm.
I came real close to doing a reverse wedding registry. People come over and be like, "Oh, do you need a blender? Here's one because we have
Right.
3." Like, "Oh, do you need a" actually gave a vacuum to one of our nephews who moved out, got his own apartment, and he needed some stuff, and I was like, "Oh, honey, do I have some things for you?" And, like,
Yeah.
giving him stuff. I think at one point we had 3 or 4 crock pots. No one needs that many crock pots. So, anyway, I digress. Um, decluttering the
That's a lot of crock, Julie.
it
That's a
is.
lot of crock pot.
Well, so here's my thing, like, okay, in my house, I have 2 mm, 3 guest room closets that I need to declutter, the
Mhm.
garage that I need to declutter, and I haven't done any of it. I've been in this house for 7 years, and I have not done any of it. And so, like, what's keeping me from doing it? Because it seems like a mountain of a task. If I think about that, like, man, I got to do something with all this stuff. I got to, take the clothes somewhere. Do I want to sell it, or do I want to like just donate it, get it out of my life? And here's the thing: I want people to think about of just taking like one weekend and doing one guest closet. Don't do all of them. Absolutely don't do everything on one weekend. Go through one guest closet. It may take me 30 minutes to do it. And you're going, well, Julie, then you can do the next one. It's overwhelming. Because it's not just the act of going through the material. It is the act of letting go of memories of, hey, well, I wore it for that one event. I'm never going to wear it again. Do I want to sell it? Do I just want to donate it? Thinking about that process. And that is very taxing on people. And I think a lot of times whenever we look at stuff and going, we just got to declutter. You just got to sort this and you got to do this and you got to do that. It's therapy. Therapy is a lot of work. And so like take your time, find my favorite thing to do, like whenever I was doing a yard sale, my favorite thing to do is I would write out every single room that I was going to go through ahead of my yard sale. And I did this 6 weeks in advance. And so I'd come home on a Tuesday. That Tuesday night, I'd go through the linen closet in the hallway. And I only did the linen closet. That Thursday night, I'd go through the guest closet and I'd take stuff out that I was going to put into my yard sale. And I didn't price anything at that time. I just put it all into one spot of the house that was going to be my collection of things I was going to sell. And now here's the kicker, because then you get to like, well, how much should I price things? And whenever you have a mountain of things to price, again, it becomes overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I would do on my calendar as I was getting things ready is every Friday evening, I was single and bored, right? So every Friday evening, I would go through and price stuff. And I would do the research of, well, what is this actually going for? And then I would figure out the right price for it. I kept a spreadsheet of everything I was going to price for. It was also one of those things of, okay, well, I have a bunch of clothing. I'm not going to price every single thing out. I'm just going to say $1 for all these things. It was the big ticket items, a vacuum, set of golf clubs, a softball mitt, glove.
Well,
I was like,
only the catcher has a mitt
oh,
for
yeah.
some reason because they're like better than everybody.
Ugh. Also, it needs to be more cushioned when you're catching those things. But yeah, so like you just put all that stuff aside, and I would price those big ticket items or those one-off items on a Friday. So I was doing it piece by piece and I wasn't having to do a whole mountain of things to price them right before the sale, because that's usually what people do. But it also meant I wasn't trying to declutter my whole house over one weekend. I gradually did it during the week. And it was also a nice way to like, again, it took me 20 minutes maybe to go through. I will say going through the kitchen maybe takes a little bit longer, but like 20 minutes to go through a closet, you can get all of it done pretty fast. And that also means just 20 minutes out of my evening. It wasn't 20 minutes out of my weekend. It wasn't 3 hours out of my weekend. It was just that. And then I could mark that off. I never came back to it and looked for something else to sell. It was like, yep, I'm done. I'm moving on to the next thing.
And I would imagine as you did it, like the momentum kind of helped,
Yeah.
knowing that, hey, yeah, I took care of that area. That kind of made it easier to potentially do another area because
Yes.
you could do it.
Yeah. It also helped to like compartmentalize everything, because I wasn't trying to think about the kitchen pantry while I was also doing the linen closet. I was
Yeah.
only focused on the linen closet. So that helped a lot. And for families with kids and they have a lot of toys, have your kids be part of it. And I think explaining to the kids, Jacob's laughing at me. What?
Well, no, it's I I I think I totally get where you're saying and where you're going with that. It's like make the kids involved in it, give them a sense of ownership and everything like that. By telling them, look, which of these adorable things that you love with all your heart needs to go in the trash compactor right now? You remember Toy Story? You remember Toy Story? You remember Woody and Buzz Lightyear? Which one would you want to see burned in the oven?
Don't oh, that's a lot of trauma. Um, no, but having and explaining to the kids, especially if they're younger, of like, "Hey, you don't play with this toy anymore, but you really enjoyed it whenever you were younger." Imagine another kid that is younger than you that can really enjoy this toy.
I totally get that, but like, man, if kids were like anything like me, like, no, I don't want another kid to enjoy this.
So
No.
so I was babysitting our oldest brother's, 3 oldest kids one time, and our oldest brother, our sister-in-law were out of town, and I'm staying with the kids for several days, and I told them, I said, I before your parents get home, you are going to not only clean up your rooms, but you're also going to take the toys that you don't play with anymore, and we are gonna set them aside, and we're gonna donate them."
Boy, no wonder you're the cool aunt.
Well, I also told them I paid them each $5 for cleaning their room, and they were like, "You mean a whole $5?" I was like,
Oh,
"You
hey,
betcha."
all right.
Now, once they cleaned the room and before I gave them the $5, I told them that if their room ever got dirty again, that they owed me $5.
Well,
I think they all owe me like 40 bucks, but
yeah.
um, kids will do things for $5. I was like, it was and of course, my brother, and sister-in-law came home and they were like, "This is great. How'd you do it?" I was like, I paid them. It's child labor. It's fine."
Yeah, right.
But whenever I told them, like, "Hey, you're gonna find the toys that you don't play with, and we're gonna put them in these trash bags, and we're gonna set them aside," and they all of them, and I wanna say the oldest at the time was probably, I don't know, what was he, like, maybe 11? And that meant the youngest was 6 or 7, and so then I was like, "Hey, guys, put it in this trash bag," and each one of them was like, "Mom and dad don't want us getting rid of our toys."
Yeah, this is counter to our programming.
I also like, it's so even today, like, they're starting to become older teenagers and stuff like that, and, like, "Wait, you don't think I don't talk to your parents about this stuff? Like, I didn't just
Yeah.
come up with the idea."
Yeah. Don't cross-check this. Don't even mention it, and they're so irate and resolute about this rule that if you even bring it up with them, they get very upset. So, they say we don't get rid of any toys, and the first person to bring this topic up has to buy us all an Xbox.
Well, it was also funny because, like, as much as they were adamant that their mom and dad did not want them to get rid of toys, I said, "Oh, I'm not taking them anywhere. We're just gonna put it in this trash bag, and I'm gonna set it in the garage. So whenever your parents get home, if there's a toy that you should not be getting rid of, then they'll be able to take it out of the trash bag, but you can't take it out." And they were like, "Oh," and part of it, they just didn't wanna clean the room,
Right, yeah.
and it was also funny because, like, I'd go in after the room was quote unquote "clean," and I would bend down and check under the bed, and of course, they just shoved everything under the bed, and then I would get, like, a bat and start, like, scooching things out from under the bed. I'm like, "Okay, you guys gotta put this stuff up somewhere," and they're like, "Oh, we didn't know you were gonna look under there."
I'm guessing like they did not leave you a really great Yelp review on the babysitter category.
Nah, they didn't, but I'm
Yeah.
like also, I wasn't getting paid for that. We're family, we don't get paid for babysitting.
No, it sounds like you lost money on the gig.
But I won points with our brother and sister-in-law because they're like, "Man, those rooms haven't been cleaned in a long time."
Yeah.
But yeah, it was funny. Kids will come up with some crazy excuses as to why they can't give up something. But
But
yeah,
the
it's one of
but
those things.
to your point, I'm sorry, but like to your point, the excuses don't seem like at their core, they don't seem that different from the stuff we like the excuses we give ourselves
Yeah,
later in life.
yeah,
There's some unspoken rule. There'll be some consequence if this happens. In fact, no, in fact, I was just about to play with that actually. That's still useful to me. We do the same thing,
yeah, you do.
much later in life. Yeah.
And I think it's one of those things of you have to weigh the value of how much does this thing bring me joy and happiness versus, oh, I don't have so much stuff cluttering up my brain and my life, and it's out of my system. Um,
If I were to kind of go like if you fully extend the lessons we could learn from your experience encouraging your nieces and nephews to clean up their rooms, It sounds like there's a market for a service that'll come in and offer you $60 if you clean this room up right now. You're like, oh yeah, okay,
I mean, I also liked my thing of like, "Hey, I'm gonna give you $5." And again, $5 back then, huge amount of money to them.
right.
But then the caveat was, "If it gets dirty again, you owe me $5." And they were like,
Ooh, that could be part of
"No."
the business model. Yeah, as a
Well
subscription service, you pay us to stay away.
well, and they didn't ask for the fine print before they started the work. So it's like, "Oh, no, you owe me this." And they're like, "That's not fair." And I'm like, "You don't have to take the $5." "I'll take it."
That's great. You the model you set up was just setting it like it kind of a early run in with the devil and the deals you'll have to make. You want this $5, don't you?
Oh, the
Well,
thing
like it's an agreement. Your room ever gets dirty again, you owe me. Yeah. The $5.
well, but whenever I told them that, they looked at their parents' room, they're like, "They owe you a lot of money." It's like, "Yeah, no." And I couldn't touch, our brother's room because 'cause I'm like, "I don't know where anything goes." And, but yeah, I was like, "Yeah, your parents do owe me a lot of money." So one of the things I have in my hand, it's a music box. It is a old piano, like a baby piano, a little music box. Do you know the story behind this?
I don't know the story behind it, but I think it plays. What is it? But I'm pretty sure is it Spanish Eyes.
No, you are
Um,
so wrong. It is I was
oh
looking
no, it's Sonata, isn't it?
it is a theme to The Godfather.
Oh, that's right.
Well, and I was just looking at the bottom of it said it is made in Hong Kong. I don't think
Oh,
I've ever seen a made in Hong
beautiful.
Kong before.
Love it.
Um, so our dad gave that to our mother, I think maybe whenever they were dating. Um, the The Godfather was the first movie that they went on a date, and so, like, they went to go see The Godfather, um, and he gave that to her as a gift, and
That's
so
very sweet. I had no idea. I
yeah.
mean, I you picked it up and I recognized it immediately, and the song came to mind, but I had no idea.
Now, I say that he gave it to him whenever they were dating. I don't know, but it was a gift from dad to mom to, like, commemorate one of their first dates where they had gone to the movie. It's also funny because, like, they went to go see The Godfather in the movie theater, and, I whenever we go to our dad's hometown and we're walking through the downtown area and the old movie theater is now, like, I don't even think it's standing, it probably fell over. But I remember I asked him one time, I was like, "Is that where you and mom went to go see a talkie?"
Yeah.
Which is what they called movies before we called them movies 'cause people, like, could actually hear 'em talking.
Were
Um,
you surprised when the train didn't run you over as it approached the station?
yeah, he looked at me and was like, "Shut up." So,
Yeah.
but, yeah, it commemorates our, mom and dad's dating, and, it's also one of those things, like I said, I don't keep a lot of tchotchke stuff. That is one thing that I do keep as, like, do I play it all the time? No, but it's like, "Oh, that was a really sweet thing that they did early in their relationship," and then also whenever I play it, I'm like, "Yeah, it's the theme from The Godfather." Like, you would think, like, "Oh, it's some sonata, something lovely." I'm like, "Oh, no, it's a Godfather, everyone dies."
I know, like, but no, that thing still sounds cool. Like, it's a very soothing sound, and, as it comes through. Yeah. Like, you play the thing and oranges don't show up. You don't have to be worried. It's fine.
Well, also, I mean, this music box is, 50 something years old,
Mhm.
and it still works.
Yeah.
So, like, I've never had to take it apart. The bottom of it's kinda cracked, but, like, the music box still works. And
So,
it's kind of a
for
cool
what
thing.
you're saying is, like, that thing brings you some joy,
Yeah.
and that's why it's worth hanging on to. It is a tchotchke thing. It's got no real utility apart from the joy it gives you,
Yep.
just
Yeah.
from what you know of the thing.
Yeah.
And the good thing is it doesn't take up a lot of space.
There's that. But again, it's one of those things of as people are going through their home decluttering, it is okay to keep things that bring you joy, that bring up good memories, a great story. Do you need those things for those? No, but it doesn't hurt to keep them. Now, you don't necessarily, if you are of the mindset that you don't need all those things in your house to bring you joy, it is okay to get rid of them. Um, I'm a minimalist, so I don't have tons of things in my house, But of the few items they have, they mean something to me and I'm happy. And every one of them has a story behind it. Now, Jacob, I try to give him these beautiful things in the shape of frogs.
Right.
And then he is like, yeah, I'm going to get rid of it. And I'm like, oh my God.
I do still have quite a few of them
Oh,
somewhere
you're
here
going
and
to
there.
get,
Yeah,
you're going
yeah.
to get so many more. I'm so
There's
excited.
a good bit. Okay, that is kind of funny.
But yeah. Um, but yeah, just I want to encourage people to think about decluttering and whether you decide to sell it yourself or if you want to donate it and that way you get it out of your home faster. It doesn't have to be a super strenuous process, but it is very cathartic when you declutter.
Hmm. Well, challenge accepted. I'll need to go and get hopping on it and everything like that.
Oh, yeah, I see what you did there with frogs and hop.
Thank you. Yeah, I know. I've been trying to figure it out, but yeah.
Well, that's our week's episode, and we'll see everyone next week.
Ta ta.
Bye.